World War Z's competent but basic co-op shooter gameplay provides a good venue for a group of 4 friends to get together, topple massive zombie herds, maybe save a few survivors here and there, and laugh about it when the results roll in. There's nothing revolutionary or even that remarkable about World War Z, but the formula it so rigidly follows is proven to be fun. Comparisons between World War Z and the Left 4 Dead series are more than justified. Unavoidable, even. The 11 linear gauntlet missions in World War Z involve completing a series of simple tasks that effectively promote teamwork and communication, especially during jam-packed zombie attacks. Weapons, ammunition, and healing items are evenly scattered about levels, especially as rewards for those who take initiative to explore. For defensive objectives, you're given about a minute to decide where to deploy machine guns and traps while deliberating about your overall strategy before the zombies come pouring out of every opening, crack, and crevice. Naturally, there are 4 special types, like the pouncing lurker, who pins you down and needs to be knocked off by a teammate. Much of World War Z's arsenal of weapons come across as a bit bland, with the one exception being the fun-to-use and hard-to-find crossbow. Its arrows pack an explosive tip that sends small groups of zombies flying into the air after a satisfying detonation. It's a blast to use, but sadly it's one of the few items to offer an exciting way to deal with the undead. World War Z does distinguish itself in its choice of settings, at least. Running through the snowy landscapes and eerie museums of Moscow brings a refreshing vibe to the typical undead battles. The streets of Tokyo and dilapidated subway entrances of New York are pretty and detailed depictions of post-apocalyptic despair and destruction. The panicked sight of zombies floating over the rooftops of buildings, trampling over each other in a fit of relentless motion is visually fascinating. Seeing swarms of zombies pile up and stack on top of each other so fluidly just to get up to your location is a sight to see, especially since it's a staple of the World War Z movie universe and one that helps it stand out from other zombie shooters. World War Z is very keen on making sure you're playing with actual human players. If you're down even one person, you'll be teamed up with a bot. And just like in Left 4 Dead, these AI dummies have a bad habit of straying too far from the team, getting stuck, and being left behind in certain rooms. That said, the zombie AI feels right and responsive, especially during stealthy moments where a missed headshot from your pistol can alert nearby enemies.
That's a good sign.
One notable area where it adds to Valve's tried and true blueprint is a class and progression system that lets you specialize in certain areas like gun damage, melee, explosives, or you can be a medic and level up their abilities. Differences in classes are minimal and primarily dictate the weapons you start with, but they also assign an unchangeable special item that helps set your role within your group, which is especially important on higher difficulties. Testing out different special items and upgrading them is alluring at first, but the appeal is slowly lost when it becomes a grind to unlock something like an increase to the blast radius of C4. A lack of cloud saves on PC makes it harder to commit to the long grind. But because all 11 missions can be completed in a swift 5 hours, the expectation of playing with improved weapons and increasing the difficulty sadly doesn't hold for too long. There are only so many times you can wait for the boat to reel in or escort the bus of survivors before it gets overly repetitive. Had the enormous hordes of zombies in World War Z felt a little less calculated and more unpredictable, like the undead in Left 4 Dead, perhaps replaying levels would feel more diverse. A very ordinary competitive multiplayer mode exists outside the main campaign. One cool twist is that zombie swarms occasionally run through maps when you're playing Deathmatch or King of the Hill. Surprisingly, that's not a nuisance, but also not enough to keep a shooter this simple interesting for long. The finest way to experience World War Z is to fire up your microphone and find yourself a 4-person crew to play through the brief but fun campaign. It's rare to see it go beyond the roots of its very clear inspiration, and there's not a whole lot of variety when it comes to the missions, the special zombies, or the weapons, but what is there works and is enough to fill the Left 4 Dead shaped hole in our hearts for a little while at least. Thanks for watching. For more recent reviews, check out our reviews of Mortal Kombat 11 and Elder Scrolls Blades. And for everything else, stick with us right here at IGN.
Introducing the all-new Up-It News!
Don't touch it. What's wrong with you? Get corn snack. Game sucks. Bring it back.
Up-It Noon returns to IGN.com and YouTube this April.